Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ambassador, for joining us. I feel like I should break into a song from Welcome Back, Carter, and because you are so highly recognized for your achievements, both while you were serving on this committee, and I commend Representative Doggett and Beyer for putting this out. I think your record of accomplishment speaks to itself. But let me cut to the chase and give you time to respond on two fronts. Obviously, the work you did both here on the committee and as ambassador as it relates to USMCA is extraordinary. Could you go into detail on two fronts? One, the incredible achievement with labor in Mexico, how you were able to get two companies to organize and how you supported people and what the effect of that has been. And then environmentally as well, I think as Representative Doggett outlined what you've been able to do with regard to illegal timber and illegal wildlife trade, et cetera. If you could elaborate on those two parts. And finally, any suggestions that you have going forward or the role you see in terms of holding Russia and Belarus responsible for their actions through trade.
Thank you for your very kind words, Mr. Larson, and I'll just note, even though you chose not to break into song, that I have heard you sing, and you have a lovely singing voice. That's not to encourage you at this moment, though, because
Did you hear that, Kildee?
I object, Mr. Chairman.
She's undercutting her point.
But to your substantive questions, on our labor actions with respect to Mexico, this is something that I would love to take the opportunity to highlight, which is the rapid response mechanism. We often think about as an enforcement mechanism, which it is. But one of the very innovative aspects of this mechanism is that it is designed to support Mexico in its implementation of a very ambitious labor justice reform that Mexico has undertaken. So with respect to our use of the rapid response mechanism twice, related to two facilities in Mexico, I just want to highlight that the success there, which has taken the form of free union votes that have allowed the workers there to overwhelmingly elect their own representatives, and representatives from unions that are recognized as truly independent ones in Mexico, is a win not just for us and our workers, it is a win also for Mexico and its workers. And so I want to highlight how this innovative mechanism, which came out of a bipartisan process and a collaboration between this committee, between the Congress and the previous administration, is very much an inspiration for us in terms of innovative approaches to trade that will allow us to make trade more of a force for good and persuade our people that we pursue trade policies to make our people and our workers stronger. On the environment as well, we have initiated the first consultation under USMCA around a desire to see Mexico step up on protecting the vaquita porpoise. They look like dolphins, I'm told. And address their unregulated fishing of the totoaba fish. And again here, we are looking in the first instance for a cooperation from Mexico, using the tools that we have in this agreement to create the incentives for both of us and our stakeholders on both sides of the border to come together to solve the problem. On Russia and Belarus, let me say this in terms of our trade tools. The swiftness that we have acted with our allies and the weight of the sanctions response to Russia and Belarus, I think, is really quite something to behold. And in terms of what we might do in trade, there's obviously the MFN approach at the WTO. There is the cessation of the accession process for Belarus to the WTO. I know that this committee and members here have thoughts about actions that we can take using trade to create those negative consequences for Russia and Belarus. I also just want to flag that I am very convinced that trade also has a role to play in addressing the economic instability and the disruptions that are going to impact the global economy as a result of Russia and Belarus's actions, and that there also lies a lot of potential for work that we can do from the administration with members of this committee to try to cushion the impact for the rest of the world.